Where are we going?
Dalston Junction, Sid, Dalston Junction.
Right, mate. So I'm just taking your pictures.
What for?
Well, for security purposes.
What the f*** this geezer doing here?
These are two bilkers, or two people that set up a scam. They end up in Dalston Junction. I believe a lot of cab drivers have been taken by these two, involving something to do with picking up a set of keys and thousands of pounds in the back of a car that they'll get their hands on to give to you at the other end. But at present they can't give you any money until they get this, and sometimes they ask you to hand some money over them to them, like £10-15, just to go and put as a deposit on something. And I believe these people have actually done me before, but I can't say I recognise them again. But this is just for all the cab drivers out there, to warn cab drivers, and if any cab drivers that do recognise them can put comments on and say that these are the people that have done it. I picked them up from just the top of Cotton Street, the E14, and they asked to go to Fairfield Road, the Bow Quarter, and I got them there, and then they told me Wrexham Road. The guy got out, was talking on his mobile phone, disappeared off, left the woman in the car, came back and then was swearing and having a go at somebody that wasn't even there and complaining, and then saying, right, we need to go and get this money, so carry on, driver. Directed me up to Upper Clapton, round these roads, took a wrong turn. By this time the fare was up to £25. So I got the camcorder out and recorded them. I'd asked them for some money. He'd give me about £9, and he said he'd gone into he'd asked me to stop at a cash point to get some money, and it didn't work. I asked him if he wanted to use my cash machine, so she produced a cash card that I swiped, she signed, and when I press OK, it declined it. So I couldn't get the money that way. We ended up going towards Dalston Junction, and I said to them that I know this trick's been pulled before, and this is probably it. And they, of course, they understandably were giving me grief about the camera filming them, but I tried to make them understand I was quite serious about this, and I wouldn't let them get away with it if it was what they were up to. When we got down to Dalston Junction, this is exactly the same sort of thing that happened last time. They got me to pull into a couple of streets, say they would have to get out and get these keys, and I was protesting, of course, and eventually this chap did come back with keys, and he had some money in his hand, and he said, see, look, I've got money, I'll give it to me now, I said. And he said, well, we need you to go on to Fairfield Road, I'll give you this, but we haven't got any more money to give you. So they said, look, if we were going to do a runner, we would have done it already. And I said, smart people don't do runners, and that's exactly what they were. They knew the system. They knew that as long as they'd give me a little bit of money, and I had kicked them out, it couldn't be pursued as a civil matter. So when I got them out of the car and drove off, I followed them. I saw them weaving in and out of. They went up Kingsland Passage first, so I drove into Bowling Road and saw them coming out of Bowling onto Kingsland High Street. They saw me, turned around and started walking back. I called the police, tried to keep them on their tracks, but they were lost. And I spoke to the police. A police car went by, and I went and filed a report up at Stoke Newington police station, and they confirmed that, yeah, because I had kicked them out of the car and I'd collected some payment, the sergeant there just said basically there's nothing they can do. I just said, yeah, these people know, they're smart people, they know the scam, but the thing is, I want to get this through to all the other cab drivers that it's happened to. I want other cab drivers to learn from this, not to pick these people up. I hope these pictures are clear enough for people to see. I've got a small bit of footage, and I've tried to isolate their faces using photographs as best I can. It was dark, I had to use a camcorder, but hopefully this will prevent this from happening as many times as it well, I assume it's happening several times a week, because with 24,000 cab drivers out there, it's a new person to pick on every time, and I've got done twice. This time when I got back to the car after this police station, my meter was at £70. Last time it was 11, so I'm down quite a bit of money. Hopefully it won't happen to anybody else. So please, when you see this, spread it around, tell the other cab drivers, and let's not get done again.